why VRIC and why now? There's two things about VRIC I would say are remarkable. We are a producer. We are a small producing company enjoying good silver prices, but more importantly, we have a very large resource on which we are certain we are going to build a high-quality silver company over the next few years. We are a Peruvian company. We've been listed in Canada for the last 4 years, a bit longer than that. And obviously, for those who have been following the company, you've seen our performance over the last years. I guess every silver stock is having a good time, but I do believe that VRIC is nowadays the one that could have the biggest leverage, given our production, given our resource, and what we have ahead of us. There's some cautionary statement. But let's get to what we do on a daily basis. I'm trying to be concise because I only have 7 minutes, but we are going to continue to replicate what we are really good at. We're really good explorers. We like looking at these historic mining districts like we did in Peru, and we like to build production quickly. Again, we're a small production, going to go 5 times bigger in the next 5 years. I will give you a lot of reasons why I believe VRIC has got a long way to go in terms of valuation. At this point in time, we're still trading far from a decent ratio against NAV. Just so you know, we published a PA back in September in which we sort of envisioned this growth from 600 tons a day, 700 tons a day, 1 million ounces to 6 million ounces, and the MPV at $33 silver was $440 million USD. At $100 silver is probably 5 times higher. I don't want to say the number because I'm not allowed, but it's crazy. But again, I will try not to talk about silver. I guess all of you are here for that reason. We are finally having the momentum we're wishing for a long time. And I think this momentum will continue. Now, VRIC is in Peru. Peru, for those who are not familiar, is the country that has the largest concentration of silver resources on Earth. It's the second largest producer after Mexico, and it's evident that many silver projects will continue to come from this country. Just in our district, we have a number of them. This is how it looks like. We've got a 20,000 hectares land package, 50,000 acres. We have a mill right at the core of it in the middle. It's been working for 60 years beautifully. We produce as we speak, have been producing for more than 3 years. And we have a mine, we call it Tangana. We built it over the last 3 years, and is now reaching a very good throughput. But more importantly, what we see 3 years from now is a mining complex. We are going to build a second mill in Tangana. We're going to use the existing mill for 2 more assets. We call them plata, which means silver in Spanish, and we call it red silver. So in 3 years' time, you should see a very relevant silver play. This is in the middle of the Andes, a very high elevation in central Peru. And I displayed some numbers here because each of those 3 mining units on their own are very relevant silver plays. Tangana is basically a 75 million ounces of silver. Red silver is about 35, and plata is about 47. Those numbers are very relevant. But again, look at the PEA we did in 2023 and the PEA we did in 2025. 1,500 tons a day, now 3,000 tons a day. We want to work to accomplish that. It's tight, but we are going to get there because we are the kind of company that does that. This is something that happened in our district just a few months ago. I think it was Q1 or Q2 2025. Endeavor Silver, a much bigger mining company, came to buy our neighboring mine. I think they made a great deal. They paid for that about $250 million Canadian. If it was today, I believe they would have paid at least 4 times more. But it was a terrific endorsement to our district because we are operating on something that is very relevant. That neighboring mine, which is the Yellow Claims, is producing today, I think, something in between 5 and 6 million ounces of silver with a 2,500 tons per day facility. We are going to go even bigger. And this is how our mine looks like, how our geology looks like. We operate a very large vein field. We have more than 200 veins. Actually, our resource, which is very relevant, is only on 30 veins of those. But our veins are the typical epithermal system. They run very long on a strike. They have a vertical extent of more than 1,000 meters, which is fantastic. I have pretty good grade. Typical mining width is narrow vein. It's 1.5 meters, 2 meters. It's fully mechanized, track legs, and we produce 2 concentrates. We sell it at the Lima port to an international trader. So in other words, our metallurgy is rather simple. We produce a lead concentrate with silver, with gold, and with lead, and a zinc concentrate. And this is how it looks. Unfortunately, I think it is a PDF because of the technical problems. I wanted to show you the different veins, how they spin around, to give you the sensation that an asset in which we are operating just 2 veins is going to grow organically very quickly. If you look at those red lines inferred on the surface, it's basically the various veins we got in Tangana. So we're mining on the right-hand side. Over the next few months, going to expand quickly throughout the deposit. So I bet there ain't many epithermal deposits on which you can actually compete with this in terms of the readiness to increase production quickly. Of course, silver prices are helping. We're a company that was break-even for about the last 18 months, and for the last quarter, of course, and now we're enjoying the prices, and we are not going to miss the momentum. Going to grow quickly, going to push production through the mill any way we can. And actually, when you look at our tonnage, what we've done very well over the last few months, few quarters, is to reduce tonnage, control dilution, make sure we put the right grades through the mill. By the way, just a few months ago, weeks, we announced a drilling campaign of 40,000 meters that is providing very good outcomes. There was a news release this morning before market. It was great. But more importantly, over 2026, we are already identifying high-grade targets. Why is that? Because Tangana is reaching full production now, is doing beautifully, but we are going to complement that production with high grade. I'm going to show you some numbers now, but this is the Plata project. This is a resource we built with historical data, with 30,000 meters of drill core, with 12,000 underground samples, and this is a terrific resource. It's 6.5 million tons of high grade. We hope that we can get this to production in 2 years, and I bet that Plata is going to be one of the most significant silver mines in Peru, probably one of the highest quality. I'm going to try to be concise on this, because only 1 minute. And these are the numbers we delivered on the PEA back in September 2025. As I said, at $33 silver, our NPV was $440 million USD. If we run a number, we haven't made that publication yet, but I believe it's going to be 5 times that at current silver prices. These are examples of our high grade. 2 weeks ago, we delivered an announcement with 21.5 ounces of silver over 60 meters. Those are the targets we're going to chase this 2026. I'm going to give you some good surprises when it comes to production. I'm going to finalize just a few comments on the corporate side. Those are the results I mentioned. We have an agreement, long-term agreement with both communities we work with, 12 years, 15 years. In other words, it covers our life of mine. There's very few companies that can say nowadays. And finally, some comments on the share structure. We actually have about 300 million shares outstanding. I think we're trading today at 140 something, up to 160 this morning. We have 2 relevant shareholders, Baker Steel, a British fund, and myself, still a very relevant shareholder, and that's it. If you want to see some research, you can visit Fundamental Research and Red Cloud Securities. That's it, and sorry about being late, but please enjoy the moment for silver.